Hey, this is Message in a Bottle video log. July 31st will be tomorrow. Today is July 30th. It is Monday evening. Just sitting here with my cat Xena, waiting for a load of laundry to be done. Just went through a 5-day work week. So this afternoon and tonight's kind of part of my day off. Unfortunately, with the way the hours I work, 4 a.m. to 1 p.m., Cat Team 1 Walmart, it's hard to do a lot on the second day because I'm always looking to the next ring of 5 days, and I sleep so poorly in that it's hard to go to sleep and stay asleep. So I can be going to bed as anywhere from 4 to 5:30, which I know always blows people away, but I'm not blessed to come from a family of males that know how to sleep well. Didn't do a lot last week because I was first going to GameStop selling a bunch of games to get pre-copy for this guy, Fallout 76. Looking forward to that, and had $70 left over to put on my general GameStop card, so I guess that's always nice. And went to Bookman's then the next day to try to sell a lot of extra books, series I wasn't going to be involved with anymore, a few movies, like I said, board games, a few video games I knew that GameStop wouldn't take, and quite a few video game systems. Because part of that whole moving business was to redo the apartment, try to scale it down a little bit. Because I have to think ahead. At some point, rent here will simply just be a little high, and I'm living on Walmart pay and money from my inheritance. And at some point, I'm going to need to really stretch that out. So in the next year on, I need to, probably move someplace a little less nicer, and maybe have a little less nice stuff. I have lived in only 2 apartment places. One on a place called Waterstone, and this one here. Sorry, a lot of Oz tonight. And both were pretty decent. There weren't any break-ins, but you can move closer to Phoenix or even Mesa here, Arizona. And some of them are not nice. They'd break in and steal your stuff. And I don't need to tempt people to mess with my car, mess with my apartment, mess with my stuff. So unfortunately, if I'm having to move someplace that's less nice, I may just best not to own a lot of nice things, which is kind of depressing, but that's kind of like what my first video log hinted at, is I don't really know anyone. Really the only relative I talk to, I'm close with, is my younger brother, and he's living in Oregon. And even though he said that, it's an open door policy if I want to move out there, but honestly, I don't want that. I don't moving I want to do is move back to California, but to do that would require an act of God and an act of money that is just not there. And if I were to move in there, I'd be moving into something equivalent of a room closet and probably paying more than I am now, which just shows you how expensive California was. And living with the parents and then living with my brother, I didn't see. I took for granted. And if you're living in California right now and you have the opportunity to do so and you don't have to move, don't take it for granted, because it's expensive, and it's one of the reasons I couldn't stay and one of the reasons I can't leave now. But anyway, like I said, very hot and humid, so I'm kind of babbling. Didn't get a lot of stuff done as far as video game playing. I was kind of focusing on getting the apartment rearranged. And I've decided, with the Fallout 76 coming out in November, is that I'm going to go back to what I did via videotaping it, or getting video clips. And it's taking one game and just playing that game consistently. With, for example, Morrowind on Xbox, I played that for almost 7 months. Just gorged the hell out of it. Played it, on days off anywhere from 6 to 10 hours. Just rode that Xbox like a Bronco. I'm surprised it didn't die on me, which shows you how sturdy those damn things are. And I was fine with that, Give me too many games, and I tend to get, dyslexic and distracted. I just, I'm like, oh, too many choices. I know that sounds incredibly stupid, but it's kind of why I don't jump on Netflix unless I have something specific in mind, is because I just feel a little overwhelmed with too many choices that I'm unable to make any choice. And this problem with games is that, I tend to get a little overwhelmed, and that I start collecting games versus playing games. So the whole rearranging was that I'd maybe then just focus on a game or two and just play and cut up some footage. And, if there's something there to put on a log like this weekly, cool. If not, then it's there for, future use or no use. It's like a hoarder, I guess. I'm hoarding video clips that may never see the light of day, and no one will carry their way. Sue me. So, but a lot of the distraction, unable to really enjoy the games last week, and it's just been a sense of unhappiness I've had at work. I work at Walmart, and I'm part of what's called Cap Team 1. And when I first started, to what is, now almost 2 years in October, has drastically changed. Much in part due to corporate, efficiency and all that nonsense. Corporate makes something look good on paper, and suddenly my life sucks. And I don't want to go into major details, but we've kind of had to, basically, they want to add a Cap Team Fresh to areas like the dairy, where milk and cheeses, and the frozen, where you have the TV dinners, to even the produce on the other side of the, kind of on the other side of the building there. And that's all fine and dandy, but the former store manager decided, no, we don't need to hire anyone for that. We'll just, pull stuff out of our ass. And now, Cap Team 1 is having to do all of what Cap Team Fresh is envisioned to do, in addition to trying to still do its normal stuff, which is fairly high amount of stuff. And I could try to explain this to, heart's content here, but it really doesn't, If you're at Walmart, you're in this situation, or you've heard of this situation, you understand. If not, just take my word for it. Cap Team 1, in addition to hours that are not always easy to work, because it's, it's really early in the morning. And now it's like, what little fun is just constantly being sucked out of it. Get a little ground back, sucked out of it. Get a little ground back, sucked out of it. And it's frustrating. Because, I just go into work, and it's just like I'm trying to survive the day. And I know that, a lot of times loving or liking your job can be a choice, but it's a two-way street. The workplace also has to belly up and, meet its expectations, And a lot of times my store does not do that. And it's just, it just feels like a beatdown every day. And it hasn't been a lot of fun, and it would, maybe in situations past, would have behooved me to start looking for another job, but looking for work in retail is, honestly, it's like swimming in a river of feces. There's just no nice way to put it. Unless, of course, you have the magic key. That would have been the true 20 years ago, as it is now. You've got to know people. The more you know, the more people you know, the better odds you're going to get a better job. Even a job you're not necessarily qualified for. That's the benefit of knowing people. And if you haven't caught on by now, by checking out my first vlog to why the hell I'm doing this, is I don't know anyone. That's the disadvantage of being an introvert for so long, is that I'm trapped in kind of my own space, And it's very hard for me to move out of that space. Call it trust issues. Well, that's fine. I'm willing to, concede with that. It's just that I don't really know anyone. And it makes me having to soldier on more necessary that maybe someone else would have said, this is nonsense. I'm doing something else. Because retail sucks. Honestly, those that can make money off of it, enjoy it. Hats off to you. But, otherwise, I've spent 20 plus years and very little of it. There was some of it, but very little of it overall is enjoyable. It's like, the equivalent of being a grave digger. Or one of those guys that would have had a shovel, following horses after a parade, picking up their droppings. It's about as much fun as that. And I'm not here to make excuses. Fortunately, I'm one of those people that I went to high school all the way through. I went to community college. I went to a college. And then I went to a college. Though I guess you could argue University of Phoenix now is not really a college at all. And I did all those things, and I've got I've got pretty good degrees. I have a master's. Hey! But, in the scheme of things, it's worth nothing. It's really not worth anything. That's the problem with education, is that unless it has a practical outlet, you're not going to do anything with it. It's as worthless as, this hat. Saying, oh, magical powers. No magical powers. There's nothing here special for that. And, it's frustrating. It's continuing to be a vexation point for me. That, every time I try to step back and make things better, the only thing I suggest was getting, accomplished with University of Phoenix was getting a worthless degree and having a whole chunk of my inheritance having to pay for that damn monies I owed. Like, if I could go back in time, I'd take all that money back. I've been able to live here another year or two without having to worry about, moving somewhere else. But, thanks to that and another chunk of inheritance that, pretty much got thefted, I'm never going to see a dime of it. And, not having any relatives that I want to put in the position, what few relatives I have living, I'm certainly not going to make them in the position of feeling like they're going to give me any money, and honestly, they're not going to give me any money. So it's just what I can do with what I got. And retail, honestly, it's just not a fantastic way to make money. You're living with 2-3 other people hand to mouth. And maybe you're lucky and, you'll find the right people, you'll find a spouse or whatnot that can, support you on just their wages or in addition with what you make. I mean, fantastic. But those that are single, it's not really a good option. So, like I said, sorry, this week turned a little bit more of a bitch session on retail than I intended to, but it's just a frustration. This is why I stick with a job like Walmart now, where I feel very frustrated. And given better options, I would have left. Months ago. And now I feel the need to stay there because looking for work is just tedious and time consuming. And with retail, you put down your specific requirements and they still call you for the most asinine of things. Oh, you're not willing to work for 25 to 30 hours a week at $9.50? And they look confused. Like it's like it requires brain surgery. It's like, dude, do you have any effing clue as to how little money that is? And then I might as well be homeless. Like I said, so you go all the time to answer the calls, fill out the website, fill out the forms, send in the resume, tell them about yourself, all that nonsense with the interviews, just to have just crap handed to you at the end. I mean, that's been my experience for so long, is that, hey, believe it or not, that's just not much fun to wade through that and just go through nonsense, or hit jobs that honestly, you have to be honest that you're not really qualified for, and they're really not going to take you seriously, and you're just you're adding to their file. They interview you and they've met the requirements for the number of people they have to talk to, so your time is wasted. And how much free time is wasted on inefficient job hunting, which I know sounds like a real complaint cop-out, but unfortunately I never really learned to effectively job hunt as I should have, because again, I don't know anyone. And filling out, it's nice to have Monster and all those other sites around, but honestly, I put all of them in the category of maybes. You know someone? That's a for sure. And a lot of times, they know something that's not even on the sites. So, anyway, I just tie up things there. A lot longer talking about than I thought I would. It's just overall frustration, if you had to ask me my life in retail, is that I'm not one of these guys that dropped out of school or half-assed in college. I diligently paid my dues for more than one degree. Time, sweat, tears, free time, money, and I have precious little to show for it. It's just very frustrating. I think higher education, as a rule, one, owes me all the damn money I put into it, and an apology, because I feel I got taken. Because I act like, oh, you have a degree, that's all you need. No, you need a lot more than that. You need a really good plan, and you really do know people already in your field. If you're not already working in your field, by the time you're getting a degree, you are probably going to struggle to do anything in it. And that's just been my reality. And retail, the only opportunities to actually make any money are to be the assistant managers and like. That is just, unless it's a certain kind of place, that is, that can be salaried hell. My brother went 3 times as much nonsense as I've ever had to endure. And I can only say I don't know how. It's like, look, I didn't rape or pillage a village on my way to this life, so why should I suffer like that? There has to be balance. Make enough to satisfy your needs, live with someone that, maybe do the same thing, and still have time for a life. Balance, everything in balance. So I guess if you have to get anything out of this super longer than intended video log, is that my life seems out of balance. That's why it's hard even, now tomorrow I have a full day where I can kind of just bat around a video game if I want. And I'm not having the excitement that I would normally have for that, is because things don't fall in balance, and I don't really have a good solution other than soldiering through, and I hate soldiering through. I mean, it's a superpower of mine, but it's really not much fun. Just to soldier through, only to have to soldier through yet another crappy situation. Because you're like, is this it? Is this my life? Anyway, that wraps up, my work bitching. But I said, for those that love their job and you get, meaningful pay and everything out of it, hats off to you. Because, there's some of us that we live on the crappier side of things, and it doesn't get much better. Sorry this is taking so long. The last thing I wanted to mention was that I've seen Ready Player One, and it was really good. It's really something that you would want to watch with your kids. It's going to be on top movie list 20 years down the line. It's just that kind of an impact movie. It was really well done. And no surprise, Spielberg was involved with it. It just was really, really good. It just, there's no other way to say it. If you don't own it, it's something that I can recommend. You should pick up a copy. And obviously, you know, even with the Blu-rays, and I'm not much of a Blu-ray extra guys, but I honestly think the extras involved with this probably would be pretty awesome. Well, I'm gonna cut this off now since this is 20 bloody minutes longer than I thought it would be. And I'm hoping video log next week is a little bit more cheerful, and you know, maybe a video, you know, maybe something, you know, a video game shot or two, or something more interesting. Then when I started this, I was hoping to leave a legacy, not a legacy of bitching. But fortunately, work is more than 50% important to people. It takes a whole lot of your time, whole of your life, and it really should mean something. And oftentimes it doesn't. It hasn't. It's just a job. It just pays bills. And from the way I grew up, it just is very sad that this is the way things are right now. You know, with me in my mid-40s, and you know, this is the best I've been able to do, and it's very frustrating for me because I always hoped I could do better. Anyway, as ever, thanks for tuning in or even stopping by. You know, keep the faith, and we'll see you all next week.